How do we connect the dots? I'm going to give you the real simple answer from the consciousness perspective. It's a very simple answer, but if you understand what I'm saying by this, it makes a whole lot of sense. The key to this is losing the chimp. And the chimp, when I talk about the chimp, I'm talking about our ego. Our ego is kind of the animal part of our brain that has evolved as the sentry and the guard system for our physical existence. It's what sounds the alarm. It keeps us safe. What defines me versus you, and what's mine versus yours. It's this thing that we use that sets the boundaries and guards our turf. If you want to catch a chimp, a very good way that they've done, it's pretty simple, but a very effective way. If you will take a jar and chain that jar to a tree, and have the hole just big enough for a chimp to get his hand in, and then you stick a banana in that jar, what happens is the chimp will reach in the jar, grab that banana, and when he tries to pull his hand out, he can't. Because now he's got a fist, his hand was bigger than when it went in. But that chimp will not let that banana go. He keeps pulling and jerking and trying to figure out how he's going to get that banana. Never thinks to just drop the banana and pull his hand out. He's sitting there wrestling with the banana. Meanwhile, the bushman sneaks up behind him and clubs him in the back of the head. So these bananas that the chimp gets focused on cause all kinds of problems. And I want to give you a few examples of what I'm talking about. These bananas that our chimps will go after. One example is self-interest. There was a couple who had an interest in art, and they had spent years and years amassing this great art collection. They had it hung in their house. They had a very large house. They had two teenage daughters, 14 and 15, and they were sitting at dinner one night. And one of the daughters looked up and looked around at all the pictures, and this collection, her parents had probably worked 25 years on a single. It meant a lot. This girl looks up at these pictures and she says, "When y'all die, we can sell all these, right?" And her mom said, without skipping a beat, "If you inherit them." So her chimp, in going after self-interest, she was thinking about, okay, that's security, that's money. These are assets I can sell. I can exchange it for what I want and what I need. Thinking about self-interest, the chimp did not see what those pictures meant to her parents. Totally oblivious to it. Got focused in chimp mode, missed the big picture. It happens a lot. Another example, vanity. There was a cowboy, young guy who was kind of a stud. All the little cowgirls thought he was quite the rage. And he bought a new ranch, and he had his eye on this pretty young girl that had just moved into town. So he invites her out to his ranch, and they go for a ride. He's showing off all his property and his new herd of cattle. And as they're riding by on the horses, there's a cow grazing, and this bull slowly walks up to this cow, sauntering around like the impressive beast that he was. About the time he gets up to this cow raises her head and looks up, and the bull walks right up to her, and they start rubbing noses, and it looks like they're kissing. And so the cowboy says to this little girl, "That looks like fun, doesn't it?" She said, "Well, it's your cow." So he got so self-absorbed in chimp mode, and he was so full of himself that he missed her perspective and how she was going to perceive his vanity or self-confidence, depending on which side of the equation you want to measure that from. Totally missed that because he was in chimp mode. The problem with the chimp is the chimp gets focused on his dots. The chimp is unable to step back and see the bigger picture. And in leadership, this is what we need to be able to do. Step away from the dots and see the big picture. And when we do that, we get coherence. Because rather than a bunch of random data, it begins to make sense within the context of itself. It has coherence and meaning.